Hello Internet. Welcome to Poku Recap, a channel where we talk about anything and everything pop culture. We feature different content from Asian and Western origins. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more of our videos. Just a reminder that spoilers are ahead. The Eternals is the 26th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I remember it being so hyped about before its release because of having some big names in the cast, and also having an award-winning director in the helm, made the film something to watch out for. This superhero movie premiered in Los Angeles on October 18, 2021, and was released in the United States on November 5, as part of Phase 4 of the MCU. It has grossed around $402 million worldwide, becoming the 10th highest grossing film of 2021. On the other hand, it received mixed reviews from critics, who praised its themes and visuals, however, criticized its screenplay, pacing, runtime, and character development. Eternals debuted to the worst reviews in the franchise's history, which was 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 380 reviews, with an average rating of 5.6 over 10. Although it did not get the approval of everyone, I somehow enjoyed it a bit when I chanced upon watching it recently. The movie is a departure from the fast-paced superhero films that the MCU has been giving us through the years. As this movie had a massive cast, not to mention a long history, given that the Eternals do not really age like we do. The movie had to show that they have been living among us for many, many years, transitioning from one era to another, as they somehow helped human civilization progress through all of the said time. Many believed that the movie had far too much expositions used, which at times made it boring. I actually thought that this movie would have worked better as a Disney Plus series rather than just one movie instead. It was like everything was crammed in one area, making the information dump heavy. Not to mention that the movie immediately introduced us to not a couple of characters only, but about 10 heroes right away, which I believe was a bit too much to grasp right away. I wish that these characters were all given more in-depth backgrounds before they were actually put together in this film. That is why a series would have worked better with such a lot of personalities in the mix. Keeping track of each Eternal wasn't exactly easy. Basically, we all knew that they were beings with abilities, however, the full extent of their powers were never fully utilized in the film. Ajak, the leader and mother figure of the group, played by Salma Hayek, had the ability to heal. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see much of her in the movie, which limits what the viewers know of her. Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun. Pun intended. Played by Richard Madden, was like Superman with his laser beam shooting eyes and he can fly. He doesn't wear a cape though. Cersei, played by Gemma Chan, who used to play the role of Minerva in the Captain Marvel movie, is a more emotional kind of Eternal who can do matter transmutation, which is basically altering matter into any form she chooses. She is also Icarus' on and off love interest. Definitely not a regular Lois Lane to this Clark Kent. Sprite comes next, who is played by Leah McHugh. Unlike the other Eternals, she is the only one who has a body of a young girl, which hinders her from experiencing the same experiences that the others have. Her abilities include casting illusions. She is also known to be the group's storyteller. She casts lifelike mirages and can teleport herself if needed. She is Tinkerbell to Icarus' Peter Pan. Then, there's the inventor, Fustos, played by Brian Tyree Henry. His abilities aside from invention include technopathy. Whenever he sees something in his mind's eye, he can make it real. He can conjure up weapons and other inventions with just his thoughts. He is also the first gay superhero on the MCU's big screen. This caused quite a stir in many countries, especially because in the film, he had an Arab husband and a child, which was somehow considered taboo in other countries, specifically the Muslim ones. The second half of the group includes Kingo, played by Kumail Nanjiani, who has been living as a Bollywood star for many years in India. He is capable of firing energy spheres from his hands or fingertips, as if they were shot from a firearm. In the movie, he shares a great friendship with Sprite, but also calls Icarus boss, because he believes that he is a great leader, and he respects his abilities. Next is Makari, played by Lauren Ridloff, who is actually deaf. Therefore, the cast had to communicate with her using sign language, of T that did not hinder her from being the Eternals version of DC's Flash. With her super speed, it is not impossible that she was able to dash around the planet to help her fellow Eternals to stop the birth of the Celestial, Tiamut. Druig, played by Barry Keoghan, his abilities include mental manipulation, telepathy, and possession, as seen during the Eternals' arrival at his compound when he possessed the body of one of his followers, greeting Sprite through him as proxy. Gilgamesh is the next Eternal, who is played by Ma Dong-seok or Don Lee. This gentle giant chose to stay with Thena, who was suffering from Mard Weary, as they lived in exile away from humankind, somewhere in Australia. This master combatant is capable of projecting golden, cosmic energy-enhanced exoskeletons to shield his arms and fists. This doesn't just shield him, but it also enhances his strength and durability while in combat. Lastly, Gilgamesh's partner, Thena, played by Angelina Jolie. She wields the power to manifest any handheld weapon she can imagine with pure cosmic energy. This includes, but is not limited to the following: spears, swords, shields, knives, axes and staffs. All these 10 unique beings form the Eternals. As fans of the MCU have been getting a lot of content lately, I felt like we've been dealt with so much on our plate so quickly, that it was just hard to swallow at times. Gone are the days when we have to wait for way too long in order for us to see another MCU release. Nowadays, it is not just the big screen releases we are looking forward to, but we are also consuming the Disney Plus releases as well. The MCU have been cranking up content as fast as they can lately, and I fear that if they will keep up with this current flow, people might suddenly feel so overwhelmed by everything, and actually end up having superhero-related fatigue. Perhaps that is one of the reasons why Eternals didn't do so well on the big screen.
Disappointed!
Given that it was sandwiched in between other Disney Plus releases and also the then upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home movie, which were also being eyed on by many of the fans. I have always admired the continuity of the stories of different Marvel phases. Weaving a world out of these stories and connecting them is no easy task. This is why I think Marvel is really doing its best to keep everything cohesive somehow. With the Eternals, there were many who questioned why they never existed before the Thanos snap happened, and why they never came into play during Endgame. Although that was answered in the movie, with them not being instructed to do so by their creator, Arishem, as their only purpose is to dispose deviants in the planet. I think many fans were still not satisfied with such a simple explanation. For me, I feel like Marvel just had to find a reason in order to expand the universe, especially now that some of the actors of the Avengers films won't be back in the future films. Although the possibility of reprising roles has become more likely nowadays, due to the opening of the multiverse, it is safe to say that the purpose of the introduction of the Eternals in the franchise is for more parts of the Marvel comics to come to life. More introduced characters lead to more worlds and stories explored, which means more to either love and hate for the fans, while more to actually risk investments and gain profits from for Marvel and Disney. Honestly, I would have wanted to see some familiar faces in the movie, and not merely references of their existence. It just felt like a cringy attempt to account for why the Eternals never stepped in to help during the events of Endgame. Overall, The Eternals wasn't exactly that bad of a movie. Sure, it had its plot holes, and it wasn't like the older MCU films.
Glorious.
But I felt like it should be given a chance. As a standalone film, if it wasn't connected to any other MCU films, I think it would have been alright. However, as a movie connected to the other original 25 films, it just wasn't what fans expected. Since at the end of the film, it was said that they will be returning, my only hope is that the next installment will be better than this one. Because they already opened up the possibility of space travel, I think this will be a good segue to the Guardians of the Galaxy perhaps. As the Domo is already out of orbit, along with its passengers, Makari, Druig, and Thena, In order to find more Eternals in other worlds, I think an encounter with them wouldn't actually be impossible. The arrival of Eros, aka Star Fox, who is supposedly Thanos' brother, along with the abduction of Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos by Arishem, sets up the story for the next time they will appear on the big or small screen. As of now, it is not yet certain when a sequel will be due, but it is safe to say that we will be seeing more of them in the future. So, what did you think about the Eternals? Was it an underrated film, or did it just not live up to the hype? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Until next time, thank you for watching.